do us a great big favor over on Facebook and give me a thumbs up or a heart to let me know that you can hear us well. We sometimes have a little bit of trouble using this camera and our audio isn't always perfect, so I like to make sure that you can hear us well. So Miss Victoria is here with me today, and so if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to type those in, and Victoria will read any questions you might have. And please tell us hello. We love to hear that. If you do me a great big favor also, over on Facebook, if you would sprinkle this video for me, the more we share the video, the more people who see it, the more videos we can make for you. So today we are making an arrangement for the church. And so First Baptist Church, this is their container, and we always, when we make an arrangement for their church, we always pick up their container and we design right in their container. What we like to do is, this is actually a metal container, so it doesn't hold water. We like to use a plastic liner, and this is just a plastic container that we purchased from our wholesaler. Not very expensive. We've added actually 2 blocks of fresh floral foam. We've filled the reservoir with fresh water, and we've taped it down. Now in this container, you kind of have to, we use foam to kind of make sure that it stays in place. So we just take our container, we drop it down into their container, and then we wedge it in with some styrofoam. Next, what we do is we take moss, and this is just Spanish moss, and we come around the edge of this container. We just go all the way around just to cover up. If the foam is showing, we don't want that green foam to show, so we just cover up any of those mechanics. Next, what I like to do is I like to green it out, but should I green it out first or add my flowers first? Let's add our flowers first, and then we will green it out. So the flowers I have chosen to work with today are really summer colors. So we're going to use some sunflowers, some bells of Ireland, some blue delphinium, orange spray roses, Solidago, and red heart roses. So I'm going to start out with my bells of Ireland. I'm going to do it a little different today, and we are going to add our flowers first and then add our greenery. So I'm going to start out with these beautiful green bells of Ireland. I like to pinch the tip out. I just think a haircut always makes a nicer presentation. So I pinch the tip out. I'm going to take my floral knife and I'm going to cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to press it right down into that floral foam. And I'm going to do that with each of my bells.
You have lots and lots of hellos.
Hello, friends. Thank you for being with me today.
Miss Lou asks, how is our day going?
We have had a really good day. We've been pretty steady. Victoria and Owen have been working on videos, and I did a YouTube video. If you have not already checked out over on Facebook, I know you guys on YouTube check us out on YouTube, but if you have not seen our videos over on YouTube, we would love for you to go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel there. We make, 3 to 4 videos a week, and we post those on YouTube, so we would love for you to join us on that platform. So I'm just taking my bells of Ireland, and I am adding them to my fresh floral foam.
Kyle Dunbar says, I'm going through a tough time right now. I love you ladies.
Oh, Kyle, I'm so sorry to hear that, friend. We will certainly keep you in our prayers. But I'm so glad you're here with us. It's good to see your name. Okay, so I added my bells of Ireland. Next, we're going to come in with some pretty blue delphinium.
Miss Lanice asks, do you design flowers for this church every week?
No, ma'am, not every week. We design flowers for this church often, but not every week. This summer, most often we do it every other week for this church. This summer, they are remodeling the sanctuary. And so they have not needed flowers this summer because they are actually in the outreach center. And so we have not done flowers at all this summer. Now this is actually going to be used for a memorial service, and then they will use it for Sunday. I'm not exactly sure where they will place it, but then they'll use it for Sunday after the memorial service. So this is blue delphinium, really pretty blue delphinium. So I am just taking the delphinium, cutting it at an angle, and I'm kind of tucking it between my bells of Ireland.
Kyle Fletcher asks, have you had any weddings this week/weekend?
No, Kyle, no weddings this week. So our little flower shop, we don't do tons and tons of weddings. We do weddings for sure, but we don't do tons. And not to say that we wouldn't be happy to do more weddings, but we just don't do a whole lot. And so last weekend was kind of a strange weekend where I had 2 weddings in one weekend, which was fun. We have a wedding in August. We have a wedding in September, October, and I think 2 in December. So we do have a few weddings coming up, but we don't do them every weekend, which is, I'm thankful. But we would be happy to if that's what we were blessed with. But I'm thankful not to be busy every single weekend.
Don Miller says, I know you made arrangements in the front cooler. Please take pictures.
We will actually. I think all we have left right now, Don Miller, is 2, and I think Victoria put those together. I think we've sold every one that we had in the front cooler. Okay, so there's our blue delphinium added to the arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with some Solidago. So you know Solidago is one of my favorites. I do have wax flower coming in next week, but this week we have Solidago.
Fletcher asks, do you work full-time in the shop?
Kyle, I work every single day except Sunday. So we are closed on Sundays. Our hours here at the shop are Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Central Time, and then Saturday, 9 to 11. I come to work every day. Callie works Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturday. Isn't that right? Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every once in a while Saturday. Not very often. And then Victoria, her day off is on Wednesday, right? And then Victoria works some Saturdays if we need her. Now, Saturdays, Jason and I usually try to do Saturdays. And we, for the most part, can. This Saturday, we've got the crew going to be here, and Jason and I are going to be in Chattanooga with Micah Thomas playing soccer. So Jason and I will be off tomorrow, and so Victoria, Callie, Robbie, and Owen will run the shop.
Mary Livingston says, hello, always love your work, Sprinkle.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for sprinkling our video. I know that sounds so funny to say sprinkle, but Facebook doesn't like share, so we say sprinkle. I guess we could come up with our own word, couldn't we? Okay, so there is our Solidago. And we have already counted all the flowers that are going into this arrangement. So I don't have to worry about counting, which is a wonderful thing. It's no fun to count. Next, we're going to come in with these beautiful, very large sunflowers.
Miss Lenise Carter says, good luck with soccer.
Thank you, thank you.
And Allison asks, asks, so there will not be a live tomorrow?
There will be a live. I don't know what it's going to be about, Allison, but I will do a live. Unless Victoria and Owen want to do a live.
I don't know about that.
We'll figure it out.
There is going to be a video up
We
tomorrow.
will have, I will do a live, but I don't know what time it'll be or what it's going to be about, but I'll do a live for you. Unless my children get a wild hair and decide to do one. They love the back room, by the way. Victoria.
Oh, good.
You're like, oh, good. Yeah, that's great. So these are some sunflowers. We're going to tuck some sunflowers in. So what I've done is I did wire them, and the reason is their little heads are pretty heavy. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a wire and I'm just pushing it up right there in the disc, and then I'm twisting that wire right around that stem. It's just giving us a little more support, and then I'm able to manipulate that head just a little more.
Miss Rona on YouTube says, hi girls, been looking forward to this all day.
So glad you're here, Miss Rona. Thank you for watching.
They kind of want me to do a live tomorrow.
They kind of do. I knew they would. I knew they would.
Don Miller says, Victoria and Owen, you got the live tomorrow.
So if, in case they decide to do the live, I'm going to do one anyway. And so we might have two. Y'all might get lucky. But we're not going to put the pressure on them to have to definitely do it.
Those sunflowers are so...
Aren't they so big and pretty? They're so large.
Jan says, so happy to catch you live from San Antonio. Hope y'all are having a blessed day.
We are. Thank you for being here.
Norma Baker says, caught you live. Love all the insider tips.
Oh, thank you, Miss Norma. Oh, this one's bumped. I'm going to walk back there and get a new sunflower. Give me just a second.
Kyle asks, random question, but how would you describe the area you are in? Is it a city, village, etc.? Kyle, I'm going to move. Let's see if you can hear me. It's a small town. It's not super, super small, but it's a college town. So a lot of what would you consider the kind of place we live in? Like, Kyle was asking, would you consider it a village, a city? I said a town.
Hey, Jason. This is a you question. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Are we a village, a city, a town? What would you consider Starkville, Mississippi?
A city.
A city. But what is our population?
Without the university, 25,000. 50,000.
Without the university, we are 25,000 is our population. With the university, we are about 50,000. Okay, so our sunflowers are in place. Bells of Ireland, sunflowers, blue delphinium, solidago. Next, we're going to come in with these beautiful hearts. So a heart rose is a traditional red rose, a standard rose. The wonderful part about the heart is it's got lots of petals. So it's a very large petal count. And if you look at it kind of close, they call it a heart because very often the petals will form a little heart shape in the center. So it's just a pretty rose. Honestly, I love the heart because it's hardy. It's a good rose. It opens really big and really full. And it's a deeper red than, say, a freedom rose or, just a standard red rose. So I love all of those parts about it. So I am taking my wire and I'm wiring this rose. I'm going to take my floral knife and remove those thorns. And the only reason I'm removing the thorns is just because they bite me. It's not going to necessarily help the rose. Now, I personally do not love a rose stripper because a rose stripper tends to tear that stem up. And so I just find it easier to just use my floral knife and remove the thorns as they are in the way.
Miss Marie Jose says, "Hi Monty, I have a lot of Solidago in my garden. Never think of using it. I am going on YouTube as soon as you are finished."
It is a very hardy filler flower. It holds up beautifully. I love it.
On YouTube, Miss Glenda says, "Hi, enjoy the diversity of your flower arranging and have learned so much from your videos." From Glenda in Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh, Glenda, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you.
Allison says, "Oh wow, I didn't think Starkville was that big. Geez, we have 6,000 in my town."
Oh,
LOL.
wow.
Miss Lenise says, "We grow sunflowers in our garden. They are huge. Any hint for using them in an arrangement for church? The heads are very heavy."
Okay, so the heads, yeah, you're going to, with the heads being so heavy, that's the reason I chose to use a wire for these. This is what you would call a medium-sized sunflower. So it's not the largest and it's not the smallest. For me, if I'm ordering in sunflowers, I prefer the medium. And it's just because the large are so big. If you have a good sturdy florist wire, that's going to help you with their heads. So you're just going to take that wire and just push it right into the back of that disc, and that's going to help you. Sometimes if your wire is not thick enough, if it's not a heavy enough gauge, you can use 2 of those wires, and it's going to give you a little bit more support. But you'll just take 2 wires at the same time and press them into that disc, and that's going to help you.
Kyle asks, "When buying flowers from your wholesaler, do you have certain rules when buying? For example, stem length, what area they are grown, etc.?"
Kyle, you have the best questions. Let me just tell you, we are so excited that you're here with us because you have wonderful questions. When it comes to roses, and like line flower roses, I buy in 60 centimeters length. So this is a 60 centimeter rose. It has been cut a little bit because we cut them to process them and put them in our cooler. I prefer a 60 centimeter rose because it makes a lovely presentation for a dozen roses. Therefore, I buy most all of my roses that are just coming into the cooler just to be used during the week are going to be 60 centimeter roses. Now, if I'm going to use roses for a party and the party has all centerpieces and lower arrangements, and I don't necessarily need the length of the rose, I am going to buy 40 to 50 centimeters, and the reason is they're cheaper. The less length on the stem, the less expensive the rose. And so if I don't need the length, I'm going to not pay for the length because I'm just going to cut it off. And why pay extra if you're going to remove it? Most of my flowers are going to be all South American grown, and that's because I use a company called Budsy, and my company, it has mostly South American farms. And so that's where most of my flowers are going to come from. As for quality, I try to use longer lasting flowers. I don't often buy really fancy flowers unless I just need them for a certain occasion or a certain event. Most of the time you're going to see us carry hardier flowers, roses, lilies, hydrangeas, carnations, daisies, bells of Ireland. Every once in a while I try to throw in something a little different and get something different, but we try to use hardier blooms. Did that kind of answer the question?
I think so.
Now we will try to change up. I try to have some different and some novelty. Like last week we got in calla lilies, and they were lovely and they're fun to use. I got them in on a really pretty good deal. So that's when I like to bring in different things, is when I can get it on a good deal. Line flower always needs to be long. So you don't ever want to buy like bells of Ireland. You want them to try to be 80 centimeters because you need that length. If you buy them shorter, they usually are just too short. But yeah, so most of our product is definitely coming from South America. Some of our foliage comes from California, but my company also orders California product. And then we have Holland product, but a Holland product is always more expensive, so I don't buy it as often unless it's just necessary for the occasion.
Miss Jan says, love the heart rose, used those for my daughter's wedding and fell in love with them. They are perfect and so lush.
They are so lovely, and they open so large. They're almost like a garden rose once they open. They do open beautifully.
Graham Newell says, hello from Somerset, UK. Caught you live tonight. What is this arrangement for, please?
Graham, this is a church arrangement. It will be used on an altar, and it will be for a memorial service, and then also be used for church on Sunday.
Kitty on YouTube says, hi, enjoy your videos. It's in Denmark, it is nearly midnight, but
Oh
never
my
mind, it is
goodness.
summertime.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. That's dedication.
Kyle says, love yellow and red flowers together.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't like where this rose is placed.
Mr. Kyle also says, you are such a legend.
Oh my word. I think he just likes to hear me say, oh my goodness. Okay, next is going to be our orange spray roses, because these are so happy and so pretty together. Okay, I don't like the placement of my bottom roses. So where are they going? So just where are they going?
Charlotte says, so glad I caught you live. I also learned so much from you. Your sunflowers and roses are so pretty. Thank you for giving your time, being so positive all the time, and sharing your knowledge.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I just feel like this is so important to share. It's something that I just feel like I have been blessed with, and I'm so thankful to share it with others. I think in our industry we want to pretend like everything is a secret, and this is not a secret. Why in the world are we trying to make everything and be so secretive? Because that's silly, and we should help one another. And I'll be honest, I get as much help from you guys as you do from me. We've had so many of our followers share where they've ordered this or that, and so I have learned so much from you, and a lot of that is studying too, and learning what to do next. So I am so thankful for each of you.
I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I believe Ziak asks, aren't the longer the stems, the bigger the head?
For like a sunflower or a flower any flower in particular, I am not exactly sure. I have not necessarily noticed that. Like for the roses, their heads aren't really any different in size, so I have not necessarily noticed that. Now for a sunflower maybe. But again, I don't like the largest ones. I always get that medium size grade, and that's strictly because to me that large is so large, it takes up the whole arrangement. And so it's hard to see anything but the sunflowers if you get the larger ones.
On YouTube, Miss Rona says, love the red roses with the sunflowers.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Lily Jester says, hi, Monty and Victoria from Williamsburg, Virginia. Welcome back, Victoria. Oh, thank you.
Victoria's glad to be home.
I am.
Okay, next we're going to come in with some greenery. I'm glad that I chose to do my greenery last. I really think it makes a more creative arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
So this is jade, and jade is just a type of palm that we use. And so I'm just going to take it, cut it at an angle, and tuck it right into my floral foam.
Miss Karen says, Monty, that looks awesome.
Thank you.
Mr. Kyle asks, is Christmas a busy time for you?
Christmas is a very busy time, but we do not sell lots and lots of Christmas items in our store. We do carry wreaths, and we do, I bet if we tie one bow, we tie 1,000. We do a lot of decorating of homes, so I'll go in and decorate homes. We do wreaths and we refurbish wreaths. So if a customer has an old wreath that still has really good bones, we will take that wreath and we will pull it apart and refurbish the wreaths for them. We don't sell really ornaments or anything like that here in our store. We do a lot more wreaths and that kind of thing. And lots of ribbon, lots and lots of ribbon. I bet, I don't even know how many rolls of red velvet that we sell, but it's a lot of it. But yes, I think that Christmas can be more overwhelming to me than Valentine's Day. And it's just because Christmas is a longer period of time, and I feel like I'm constantly going and going at Christmas. I'm going to turn around this arrangement really quickly, and I'm going to green out the back side.
Miss Liz says, so beautiful, love the colors.
Thank you so much.
On YouTube, Leanne says, you are the first YouTube flower arrangement channel I have followed, and I learned so much. Thank you for your positive attitude and being willing to share your process.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Carolyn Lawson says, Monty, good to see you today. Love the flowers you are making. Now, I love red roses, but I like mixed flowers.
I agree. I think mixed flowers are so pretty. Now, I like roses tucked in, but I think mixed flowers really, really make a statement.
I hope you have a lot of, it's beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Whoops, I'm throwing stuff on the floor.
It is pretty. Those colors are very pretty.
Does it? It looks good for a man.
Oh, yes.
For a gentleman's. I tell you what, guys, what I have learned this year, and I have always been the florist that added my greenery first. I've learned that if you wait and add your greenery last, you're going to use less greenery and it's going to cost less money in your foliage. You don't use as much foliage. So, as hard as that has been for me to figure out, I find that I have a more creative arrangement and I'm not using as much money in my greenery. It's been a good thing. Change can be good, right? You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Pamela says, beautiful, I love these mixed flowers.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you.
Tripper's Mill says, oh, that is outstanding.
Hello, friend. How are you, Beth? Thank you, thank you.
John says, this is stunning for a man. Jocelyn says, gorgeous.
So I am going to move my Solidago a little bit in this arrangement. Now let me say this, and I haven't said it in a long time, so I'm going to repeat myself. When working with fresh floral foam, you do not want to stick a flower, pull it out, stick it in, pull it out. You want to stick flowers in and try to leave them alone. And that is hard for a lot of people. And so when I say I'm going to move my Solidago around, it's important that when you put a flower in, you leave it, because you tear that foam up every time you stick a flower in. When you pull it out and reinsert it, it's breaking up the foam. So the integrity of the foam is so much better if you'll leave the flowers in place when you put them in first. Now, it's not going to tear this foam up completely if I move around some of the Solidago. But because I'm adding greenery, my greenery is camouflaging the filler flower, so that's the reason I'm moving it. But when working with floral foam, do your best to place it and don't remove it. Just because it does tear up the foam.
Kyle says, I so wish we could come and visit from the UK.
I actually have someone coming to Shadow in a week or so. She has a flower shop. She runs a flower shop, and she's going to come visit us, and we may see if she would be interested in doing a Q&A and asking some questions. I don't know how timid she would be, but I'm excited to be able to talk to her and walk her through. I think we need one red rose here. How we do things here in our shop, in hopes that that will help her in hers. I'm gonna go get one more red rose because that bothers me. One moment.
Alright. Miss Margaret says, good evening, Monty, and all good friends watching. Just love your container. Hi, Miss Margaret. Good to hear from you. I hope you're feeling better, feeling well. It is a pretty container. It is. It's one of my favorites she has up here.
I saved a lot of money on doing the foliage, so it's not a problem to add one red rose because I had 3 bundles of foliage. Yeah, that's going to be better, isn't it?
Zach says,
Go ahead. I'm just talking.
That's a very good tip about using greens last. I love watching all of your videos. I've learned so much from you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad. Go in, little friend.
Mr. Carl asks, do you have any advice on keeping orchids alive? I'm shocking it.
Okay, I'm not an orchid person. You mean like orchid plants? Or are you thinking cut orchids? Orchid plants I am no good at. I don't have a whole lot of patience and they're not really happy at my house. Yeah, that was better. They're not really happy at my house, so I don't know anything about orchids. I can Google it, but I don't really know how to take care of it. If you'll go on YouTube though, and I am certain that there are some fantastic orchid growers who are on YouTube and they could teach you everything they know. But for me, I'm not a great plant person.
Carl said yes, orchid plants.
Plants, yeah. But go on YouTube and see if you can find some growers. We had this wonderful little guy here in Starkville who grew orchids of all variety. I mean, like amazing orchids. But that's a little more work than I want to get into. It's like having more children.
Kyle says YouTube is the way forward.
I tell you, it is. Okay, so this is cast iron or aspidistra. So I'm just adding a few fun leaves.
Dawn says yes, it needed that red rose.
Yes, didn't it? It did need that. I told you it was, and then when you put the two together, I was like, yeah, this doesn't look right. It needed it.
Miss Marianne says, delightful combination for anyone. Will the family of this gentleman get to keep this arrangement, or did the church purchase it? It would be something beautiful for the family to have.
I think the family decided to use it. They ordered it for the memorial service, and then they're donating it to the church in his memory. And so they wanted the church to use it for Sunday morning in his memory. So I think that's a beautiful tribute to him.
Julie says, my grandson tells me to Google it. LOL.
I say it a lot, and my sister's like, did you tell me to Google that again? I said, yes, sister, I told you to Google it. She gets on to me. Quit telling me to Google things. Well, Google it, sis.
Miss Betty says, beautiful, love sunflowers and roses.
Thank you.
Gray says, I miss seeing you today. I'll try to catch her memory first. My name is Gray. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Thank you, Gray. I'm so glad you're here with us, friend. And always remember you can go back and watch replay, and that's wonderful. And you can fast forward me talking too much, like my sister does. She puts me on mute and fast forwards to the end. All right, guys, there is our finished church arrangement. It has sunflowers, blue delphinium. It has bells of Ireland, which I love bells of Ireland. It has red heart roses, and it has orange spray roses, Solidago, and pretty mixed foliage.
Jan says, Monty, just when I think you've outdone yourself, you outdo yourself again.
Thanks, Jan. Thank you.
Ziak asks, how many days in advance did you usually get your flowers for all of your events? Do you have any tips of how to keep snapdragons to last longer? They seem to die very fast.
Okay, so it really depends on where you ordered your snapdragons, all those things. Snapdragons are not happy flowers in the heat, I have found. So in Mississippi, I don't order a whole lot of snaps in the summertime just because we are hot. Like, I don't even know how hot it is today, but it is too hot. So I think the best thing in the whole world for any type of flower is a really good cooler. That's going to be your most important tool in keeping flowers fresh. For us here at our shop, we get farm direct flowers. So what that means is we bypass our wholesaler, and those flowers are cut from the farm and delivered to us within 3 or 4 days. And so they are not being taken to the wholesaler unpackaged, placed in their cooler in hopes that they're going to rotate it correctly. I get all of my flowers directly from the farm. And so they're cut, they're placed in a box, and they're shipped directly to me. So I have found that is giving me a whole lot more life on my fresh cut florals than if I bought them directly from a wholesaler. What was the next question?
How many days in advance did you usually?
So for me, I order a week out. So that means I ordered today. I can order all my flowers this week to come in next week. So a lot of that is just praying that I got the right colors. I order mixed boxes of flowers. So when I order mixed boxes, such as stock is going to come in mixed colors. Delphinium, of course, is all coming blue. The sunflowers are of course coming all yellow. I do order only the orange spray roses, but if I need another color of spray rose, I can get that from my local wholesaler. Roses, I'm going to order a mixed box, so I have lots of different varieties of roses. I like to order white blooms, a lot of white blooms, because I love paint, and using floral paint helps me to have a variety of colors of flowers too. Does that help at all?
So how many days in advance for like a specific event?
So a specific event, I order 2 or 3 weeks out. But that's strictly so that I can guarantee I'm going to get those exact flowers. So say I need white garden roses, and I need white oriental lilies, and I need bells of Ireland and white snapdragons. I'm going to order 2 weeks out so that I know that's exactly what I'm going to get in for that occasion. I'm using those hands a lot in that there video. Sorry.
Kyle Fletcher sent 100 stars.
Kyle, thanks for the stars, friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any more questions? Are we good?
They're saying it's beautiful.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Kyle, thank you for the great questions. And all of those that have asked wonderful questions, guys, we appreciate you so very much. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to drop that in the comments. We're happy to answer that. And we will answer that on both Facebook and YouTube. So you guys over on YouTube, don't hesitate to ask. Victoria is going to go in. She and Owen do all our YouTube because I'm not real smart when it comes to YouTube. I'm just thankful that they know how to do it. But don't hesitate to ask any questions. Tomorrow we will do a live over on Facebook. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but we will figure that out. So don't hesitate to come back tomorrow afternoon. I will have a devotion tomorrow morning, but I may pre-record that. We will leave Mississippi in the morning at 5 o'clock to get to Chattanooga. So I don't know that I will try to do a live in the car because I don't know how the internet will be. So I will pre-record our devotion, but there will be a devotion. So if you're interested, you can join us at 8 o'clock in the morning over on Facebook for our devotion. You can also check out our Shopify website where we have wonderful Flowers by the Bunch t-shirts and lots of fun merchandise. I would love to have y'all check that out. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Do us a great big favor and sprinkle this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.